This podcast episode is all about the mindset needed to pursue dreams, goals, and passions. I'm not talking about the Better Each Day podcast, but rather a podcast called Wait for the Dawn with host Sachiko Tiana. Her show's content is very similar to Better Each Day. She's lived a life of personal challenges, including a traumatic childhood. She writes and speaks about those and many ways to turn it around with positive thoughts on her podcast, Wait for the Dawn. She calls it living the fullest and most fulfilling life just 4% at a time. Sachiko says the best way for us to thrive is for everyone to pursue what they're most passionate about. Sachiko is a singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, speaker, and podcast host. This is a great chat with a wonderful, warm person. Please listen, and I'll put links to her information on show notes for this week's Better Each Day podcast radio show.
Welcome to the Better Each Day podcast radio show with Bruce Hilliard. Today and every day, reaching out for innovative ideas in every way. Today's show is brought to you by your future. It comes with a lifetime guarantee. Make a better each day now, baby. Better in every way.
Sachiko Tiana, how are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you, Bruce?
You're always awesome. I listen to your podcast, and it's always very uplifting.
Thank you. I love that.
How long have you been doing that?
Oh, well, I started recording the podcast in December of 2017, but I didn't actually release anything until July of this year. So I don't know where you start counting, but It's been out for about almost 2.5 months now.
It's great. Wait for the Dawn is the name of it. How did you come up with Wait for the Dawn?
Well, it's kind of funny because, the whole concept of the podcast is, pursue your dreams and overcome hardship and know that the dawn or the dream or fulfillment or inner peace or whatever it is we're searching for, that is coming regardless of what we're seeing right now. And to be honest, we were thinking through, music clips and intros and just putting kind of the podcast format together. And I've been working with an artist development coach for almost 2 years named Vinny Rebus, and he's awesome. So it was his idea for me to start the podcast. And then I was working with my producer and flipping through songs, and I realized I already have this bridge of the song I love, While You Are Sleeping, that has that lyric, Wait for the Dawn, in this kind of ethereal, had already recorded it and released it that way. And so we were like, well, that name works and the music works and it's totally in line with the message of the podcast. And so we ran with it.
My podcast came from a song title this is so funny, that I wrote, probably,
I love that.
Probably 35 years ago, and which probably predates you. You were probably negative 5 years old or something at that point.
Something like that.
Yeah. So,
-2.
Yeah, and the song was in my head, and I knew kind of what I wanted to do. And it's along the line, really basically, pursuing dreams, goals, and passions. And I focus on music. And because that's kind of my deal, I guess. And it's funny that we both kind of
love this energy.
We drew from our music, and the whole project has been sort of self-referencing for me because it really did enhance my life, So I guess, I'm sure you have.
Love that. Yeah, same.
Let's talk about While You Were Sleeping, one of your great songs.
Yeah, so that's my stalker song. That's my creepy, I love my husband and I watch him sleep song.
You're stalking your husband? Is that legal?
Well, I think so.
It should be.
Probably as legal as it gets in terms of stalking.
Yeah.
But no, like my husband and I'm pretty candid that we've both been through a lot in life, in childhood, in And of course, in our relationship, because we, like anyone, you bring all of that experience into this relationship, and there's a ton of love there. And I mean, a deep, just unconditional love and affection for one another. And at the same time, like, we got issues. And so that song I wrote it one night, literally while he was sleeping next to me, staring at him, thinking about how, we've been through a lot, we've worked through a lot. And at the end of the day, like, in this moment, I know that everything's okay. I know that we'll be all right. We're all right. And it was kind of the theme of that song is no matter what we've been through, it's in these, moments of quiet that I feel that peace of knowing it's all good and we'll get through it. And that bridge is, it's when it feels like I'm failing and the whole world is ending, all I'll do is reach out for your arms, and I don't know where we're heading. All I know is I'm willing to cuddle up with you and wait for the dawn. And it's this, I'm committed to make it work no matter what, even though there are moments that are really difficult. And so it's so funny because he'll come to different shows, and I've done several shows at the House of Blues in their VIP, in their foundation room this year. And every time I intro that song, he's always just sitting there kind of uncomfortably. He's not a spotlight kind of guy, so he's just uncomfortably listening to this whole process that I work through, and the fact that I'm staring at him writing this song, and people really love it.
but you wrote it while he was sleeping, and you were staring at him. That must be, you are a stalker.
Different.
I love that. It's, it sounds like a scene from a movie or something. Has that been used yet? It should.
Ooh, I love that idea. Yeah. No, if anyone has connections, let me know.
Yeah, let me get Spielberg on the phone right now. I'm a hopeless romantic, so I come up with stuff like that, and I think a lot of guys think, Bruce, you're really weird, but I don't care.
No, I love that. My husband's a hopeless romantic for sure. He expresses it, I think, in a unique way, but I think that's good.
By watching football games or what?
Well, no, he's a true servant. And I really appreciate his heart. When he cares about someone, he will really lay down his life for them. And in a way, that is his expression of romance. It's not always my favorite way of receiving it. I don't process that way. It's not my love language necessarily. But I recognize it, and I honor it, and I love that about him.
A whole world of people like that would be a really good thing, I think. So he's got my vote.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And, my whole heart behind my podcast and my music is, and I think that this is kind of the new way, is it's coming up more and more where people aren't necessarily trying to paint the perfect picture, but just paint the reality and help people who are going through similar things to feel like they're normal. We all go through that. And I think sometimes in marriage, in relationships, you go through challenges and you feel like you're the only one dealing with that stuff. And so I like to just kind of put it out there and go, we're not perfect. We're figuring it out like the rest of the world, but I love the dude. And so here's my heart in a song.
Love when I'm laying next to you. The sound of your breathing fills the room, and I'm alright. I'm alright. become reality. While you were sleeping, while you were sleeping, while you were sleeping, while you were sleeping. Can't believe it's been this long. 1 and 2 and 3 years gone, and I'm alright. I'm alright. 4, 5, 6, and 7 with you now and until heaven. Alright, we're alright. While you were sleeping, I'm awake but dreaming dreams I never dreamed would become reality. While you were sleeping, while you were sleeping, while you were sleeping, while you were sleeping. When it feels like I'm failing and the whole world is ending, all I do is reach out for your arms. I don't know where we're heading. All I know is I'm willing to cuddle up with you and wait for the dawn, 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 the dawn. While you were sleeping, I'm awake but dreaming dreams I never dreamed would become reality. While you were sleeping, while you were sleeping, while you were sleeping, while you were sleeping.
That's awesome. I'm going to sidetrack just a teeny bit. What got you involved in music? Did you come from a musical family, church, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so I have this very kind of crazy, childhood story. I lost both my parents when I was really young.
Oh.
But my dad was just a music lover, music obsessed, and I grew up listening to Sade on vinyl and Michael Jackson on vinyl. And then in our garage in elementary school, my dad set up a reel-to-reel, like little shoddy recording situation in the garage.
Yeah, but it records. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said yes, but it records. It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Exactly. It did something. And so that was really my first experience recording, was with my dad at 8 or 9 years old. He would sample different songs and he would write some kind of hip hop lyrics and we would record together. And then he wrote a song that we actually took to a recording studio and recorded. Unfortunately, I don't have those recordings just because of how everything worked out. But, my first studio experience was at 8 or 9 years old, my dad was rapping and I was singing, or my dad and I both were rapping. He had me rap a lot of the songs. And then from there I went to sing in churches and choirs in school. And I still sing in my church's worship team, probably about once a month right now. And so I think that love of just great music started as a kid. And in some ways, my love of music is is very representative of my relationship with my dad and my love for my dad, who also was abusive and a drug addict and, all these unseemly things. But the music is the way I remember the best memories of him and the good feelings of that relationship. And in many ways, I'm so grateful for what he instilled in me.
Yay for music. Yeah. I think you hear this story a lot, and music's underrated. I think the arts kind of are too.
Totally.
I heard an interview with Meryl Streep, and it was probably an older interview, but I'm sure she still says the same thing, that there are lots of mathematicians and 2 + 2 will always be 4, but the arts, to be able to create something out of nothing, or to do what you're doing, I think it's a really good thing, and I recommend it for everyone. You don't have to be a virtuoso, if you can just ad lib, make it up as you go, and have fun. It doesn't have to be even a piano, or it could be a harmonica, it could be singing along, humming along, whatever. I just think it's good therapy. That's just me. Yeah.
No, I love that. I totally agree.
Okay, here's a really cool song that you do, Fall Again. It's got really cool harmonies. First I want to ask, how many vocalists are there on this?
Oh, good question. So there are 3 of us. 3 of us?
It's
yeah, there's 3 of us.
It sounds like
1, 2, 3. Yeah, just 3 of us.
It sounds like more to me, but
yay. Well, I did a couple layers. Yeah. My buddy CJ came in and did a couple layers, and he's one of the, I'm so green still in the studio that I feel like I have to record things 1,000 times, and I want to get it right, but I still want it to be organic and not purely auto-tuned. And CJ just came in and had all these great ideas, laid down his part, and pieced out. He was just a pro. And then my buddy Keenan did all the bass sounding. And then I don't know if Vaughn ended up doing. That's why I'm 3 or 4. My producer may have done some kind of fun background stuff as well. But there are at least 3 of us. So
was your part ever right? Is it ever perfect? Probably not.
No.
I know.
And that's the music I love, is the Sades and the just the organic sounding music. Yeah. And then, I put my music out to be, of course I, put it out on Spotify and stuff, but then I also had it reviewed, which is one of the worst decisions I've ever made. I'll probably never do that again.
By who?
Because everyone has an opinion. It's by people who, I'm not going to say the platform, but there's a platform online where you can have it reviewed, and people get paid 25 cents per review or something like that. And so my guess is that they're listening to very quick snippets of it, reviewing. And so I got 10 out of 10. I love your music. I'll totally follow you. And then I got all your vocals are out of tune, and I don't like the production. It was just bipolar. And so what I realized is I'll find my tribe. It's not about a million people's opinions. It's about finding the people that connect with what I authentically create and not worrying about it being perfect.
You could go out of your mind. Will ever think it's perfect. Yeah, if you try to interpret all that, you literally could be in a straitjacket.
When I had a tough time after that, I really felt like I'm not good enough. I'm not a good singer. What am I even, I went through that whole process, and I don't necessarily feel like I've come out the other end man, I'm just an amazing singer, and, I'm a gift to the world. But it's a process.
Do we ever reach that level in anything? I don't know. I think if you do, you stop learning. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here to tell you, yeah, you are wonderful. It's really good stuff. And here's
Thank you.
In all your positive world here, you have a line here that's really quite dark. Like gravity, I know you're bad for me. It's the sad part of the song, I guess.
Well, I mean, the song is a little dark in general. I mean, I really wrote the song about kind of that pull to validation, to people pleasing, that ego, that pride of like, I want people to like me and I want them to care about how great I am. And we all want that. And then of course the parts of us that are just like, I have to be true to myself. And so the song was really about that battle of like, it seems really helpful to have people love me and their opinions and feel like I get that validation. But at the end of the day, for me, if I'm not really giving it to myself, it's not actually that beneficial for me. It doesn't feed my soul. And so that's my heart behind the song. However, I intentionally wrote it in a way where anyone could insert their vice or their thing. And then, of course, at the end, the lyrics are not again, never again, kind of about breaking free of that limitation or that vice or that way of thinking or living. And I mean, I think that that's still a process for me, but it's definitely something I've grown in a lot, for sure.
You look deliciously sweet, bright and juicy red apple. You're causing me to eat, mingle, taste, and dabble. I am coaxed by you. I am coaxed by you. Like fighting gravity, I know you're bad for me, but I just can't break away. Even when I see clearly, I'm not strong enough, so be to change. And so I fall again, fall again, fall again. You make me fall again. Your taste is sour and bitter. Your heart is thorns and thistles. Though you love to promise, you live to under-deliver. I feel loved by you. I feel loved by you. Like fighting gravity, I know you're bad for me, but I just can't break away. Even when I see clearly, I'm not strong enough, so be to change. And so I fall again, fall again, fall again. You make me fall again. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone.
go. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Just let me go. Leave me alone. Just let me go. Let me go. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Just let me go. Just let me go. Like finding gravity. I know you're bad for me, but I just can't break away. Even when I see clearly, I'm not strong enough solely to change. And so I fall again. Fall again, fall again. You make me fall again, not again, never again. Won't make me fall again, fall again. I won't fail again, not again, never again, never again.
What a great song. I'm very excited for you. I see big things. My crystal ball says Sachiko Tiana is going to be big, big. Yeah. And
I love it. Thanks.
well, if you had any one thing you wanted to say to the up and coming new people.
Yeah, I think the thing that I feel the most strongly about is that God gives us our passions, our talents, and our dreams for a reason, and that they are inside of us and for only us. And it doesn't matter what anyone else's opinion is or anyone else's feedback is. If that's the tug on our hearts, it's not necessarily, jumping it, quitting our job and joining the circus and jumping in full steam, but it's touching that a little bit every day. It's doing 4%. That's the thing I was told. The thing I keep regurgitating is just do 4% every day. Keep touching that. Don't expect for it to be all in right away, but don't wait for the perfect circumstance. Do a little bit today. And as you do that, that will grow and doors will open up and your world will shift as it has for me. And I want to hear about it. I love, on the Wait for the Dawn podcast, just like this podcast, we love supporting dreams and vision and hope. And so, I love hearing how people are moving the needle forward and how their life is changing by touching their passions every day.
I could not have said it better.
Love it.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your time. I am going to legally stalk your show.
Yeah.
So.
Yay! I will also say I've very much enjoyed listening. I've listened to several episodes of your show once I learned about you and the messaging and the synergy. And I love what you're doing. I love that there's more of us out there who have the same heart. And, together, I think we can continue to make our impact. I think it's important.
Count me in. There's nothing more fun. Yeah, this has really been a good experience for me. I recommend it to anybody that's as crazy as we are to do it. So.
Yeah. Totally.
Enjoy your day. You're the best.
Thank you. You too, Bruce. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
listening to the Better Each Day podcast radio show with Bruce Hilliard. We'll be back with a new horizon, but until then, honor the future. It comes with a lifetime guarantee.
And we're all just trying to make the next day a bit better.